March 2013. Most people were playing Bioshock Infinite or Tomb Raider, but a small group of us were downloading a weird clunky game in closed beta that my friends pitched to me as Space Ninjas. I was in. Back then, there was no Orbiter. Lotus wasn't there to guide us through a cinematic space opera. There was a menu, a handful of planets, and a stamina bar that made you feel more like a tired jogger than a ninja. Frustration didn't stop at the stamina bar. Failure back then had a literal price tag. Look at this screen. 4 revives. That was your daily cap for the entire account. If you burned through them, you were benched for the next 24 hours, or you were reaching for your wallet to pay for more. It was a punishing, almost mercenary era of game design that by all rights should have buried Warframe in the beta graveyard. Yet, looking back at these grainy menus and blocky mod cards, it's wild to see how that shaky start paved the way for the 13 years of evolution that followed. We didn't just survive the pay-to-live era, we outgrew it. When I look back at my old footage, the most shocking change isn't the graphics, it's the weight. In 2013, we moved to the tactical heaviness that's completely gone now. We actually used the cover mechanic. I remember crouching behind crates and peeking corners, just because we weren't gods yet. We were vulnerable, and if you wanted to reach a high ledge, you didn't just double jump. You had to have super jump equipped as a literal mod ability. Looking at that menu now, seeing a whole slot dedicated to just jumping higher, it feels like looking at stone tools. We didn't have Parkour 2.0. We had coptering with the dual Zoran if we wanted to go fast. And if you messed up your timing, you're back to that slow rhythmic jog. But that sense of limitation didn't just apply to our movement. It was baked into the very structure of the world. The solar map back then wasn't the immersive 3D systems we have now. It was just a series of blue beads on a string. There was no grand narrative calling us forward, no epic quests to track. I remember spending hours farming the same 3 nodes on Ceres and Jupiter, just for a chance at a single blueprint drop. We were mercenaries with amnesia. Simple as that. We didn't know what we were. The Lotus was a flickering face on a comms link, and the mystery of the Tenno was something we debated in forum threads, because the game itself didn't have the answers yet. We were playing a game that was building its own lore, one update at a time, and we were just happy to be along for the ride. But a game can only survive on mystery for so long before players want answers. For years, we wondered what we were. We looked at our Warframes and saw tools, but we didn't see ourselves. That all changed in December of 2015. I remember the day the second dream dropped. It wasn't just a quest, it was a revelation that turned the entire community upside down. It gave us a face, a voice, and for the first time in 2 years of playing, it gave us a why. Suddenly, Warframe wasn't just a hallway shooter anymore. It was a space opera with a heartbeat. From that moment on, Digital Extremes did something few developers dared to do. They threw away the rulebook, started changing the fundamental genre of the game mid-life cycle. They took us out of those dark, cramped tile sets and threw us into the vast open worlds of Cetus and Fortuna. They gave us capital ships with Railjack, and even parallel dimensions with Deviri. They traded the mercenary simplicity of 2013 for a cosmic scale that felt impossible back when I was just trying to survive a Mercury mission with an MK1 Bratton. It was a risk that transformed a struggling beta into a juggernaut. So why am I still here? Why are we still here? Because at some point over the last decade, Warframe stopped being just a game I played and became a community I belonged to. I remember those early dev streams, just a few developers sitting on a couch, looking as tired and as hopeful as we were. It never felt like a giant corporation talking down to us. It felt like a group of people in a basement, building something impossible alongside us. When they removed the paid revives, it wasn't just a balance patch. It was a gesture of trust. When they leaned into Fashion Frame because they saw us spending hours on the color palettes, they turned our vanity into a shared culture. We've been through it all together. The highs of a new cinematic quest and the lows of a buggy launch. We've stood in relays together to celebrate milestones, and we've helped brand new players clear their first war fight. There's a specific kind of kinship that comes from being a Tenno. Whether you started in the dark corridors of 2013, or you just woke up yesterday. We all share that same biomechanical heartbeat. We didn't just stay for the content, we stayed for the people on both sides of the screen who kept the dream alive. If you told the 2013 version of me, the one struggling through that dark asteroid hallway with a clunky MK1 Bratton, that this game would eventually have cross-save, flying capital ships, and a story that makes people cry, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said that a game where you have to pay for revives couldn't possibly survive a year, let alone 13. But I would have been wrong, because Warframe is more than the sum of its updates. It's a ship of Theseus. Every plank, every piece of code, and every system has been replaced, yet the soul remains identical. It's a testament to what happens when developers and players actually trust each other. It's been a long journey from that first Grenier hallway. A lot has changed in my life since 2013, and a lot has changed in yours, but the origin system has always been there, waiting for us to wake up. We are the Tenno. We are the legacy of a dream that refused to die, and after 13 years, it finally feels like we're just getting started.
Dream, not of what you are, but of what you want to be.